Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB. The game has just finished and I thought tonight I'd do the video as soon as it finished. Sometimes I give it a bit of time before I do a video so that I don't speak from raw emotion or, say things that aren't particularly true in the aftermath. But certainly tonight I thought it was right to do the video as soon as the game had finished because there were many things about tonight's game which were good. There were many implications from tonight's game which are disastrous, and there is a very small light at the end of the tunnel. So we're going to start with the game in general, the final score, if you didn't see the game, which, may have been good for you if you hadn't seen the game. Valencia 2, Barcelona 1. A game in which we started excellently, finished with a bit of a limp, and we were very, very good in the middle. It was a game that had a number of chances on our part. I'm not just talking about chances whereby you test the keeper. These were genuine goal-scoring chances. The majority of the chances we got on the night, you could have actually scored from without too much effort. And that is the problem. I think the players tonight gave everything. I think they deserve credit in terms of the effort, in terms of their attitude. I think the problem tonight was our conviction in front of goal, the clinical nature of our finishing, and our overall confidence in our play at the moment. That was the problem that we had, because the problem right from the word go, you could see from the players, was when they got in the position to finish off a chance, when they got in the position to really have a go at goal, they didn't believe they could do it. And that was our problem tonight. It wasn't the fact that the players didn't turn up, it wasn't the fact that they weren't focused enough, and it wasn't the fact that when we went 2-0 down, it would have been quite easy for them to think, you know what, we haven't won in ages, we're on a bad run of form, everything's going against us, let's just quit, let's just see this game out, it doesn't matter, we're still top of the league, let's just see it out now. But they didn't. They really fought back, and the thing that really stood out for me is that when we conceded, Gerard Piqué was there, and he put his hand to the crowd and he was jeering them up, and then he turned to the players and he was jeering them up as well, pointing to his head, telling them to switch themselves on, and that was good to see. That shows that we've got leaders in the dressing room. That shows the desire of the players to go out there and wanting to win this. You cannot argue with their will to win. You can't, because tonight they gave everything. They really did. They were running non-stop, the full-backs got up and down, the centre-backs were pushing right up, the forwards were trying their best, but it didn't happen. What you can fault is their general play in front of goal tonight, the general play when it came to putting the ball in the back of the net, what is supposed to be the hardest thing in the game, and tonight we made it look that way, because the chances that we had, any other team, and I really do mean this, any other team would have scored twice. There's no denying that. We should have got at least a point out of tonight's game. We were foolish in the way that we defended, we were naive in the way that we played to concede those 2 goals, largely on the break to Valencia, but apart from that, the chances that we created in front of goal, we should have at least drawn the game. But we couldn't do it, and that was the general feeling that in the end we missed so many chances. There was so many ones that went begging. There was just no answer for it. And unfortunately, on the night, you've got to say that Valencia took their goals well. They defended well. They had a defender in Mustafi, who turned 24 today, incidentally, who is absolutely outstanding at the heart of that defence. If he's not considered one of the best defenders in La Liga, I don't know who is, because he was magnificent at the heart of their defence. And it actually got me thinking, should we be throwing a load of money at Valencia this summer, like Man City did with Otamendi, except that Mustafi really does look the real deal. So, interesting one to put on the back burner for the summer. But in terms of the game, we started well. I thought the first 10 minutes were outstanding. I thought the Camp Nou crowd did their job as well. They got behind the team. There was a fantastic atmosphere inside the stadium before kickoff. 88,000 there tonight. A great crowd. And everything was set up nicely. We created chances. Lionel Messi looked invigorated. He was staying very, very tight to the right-hand side during the first part of the game. That was good to see. He was stretching the play. Neymar was looking quite lively. Luis Suarez was closing everything down. And it looked good. It looked like a feeling that we're going to do this. We're going to slowly wear Valencia down. We were getting some space in the wider areas. We were exploiting that. And it looked like it was only a matter of time before we got our goal. And how wrong we were. Because when that happens, when you lull yourself into that feeling that it's going to come in a minute, you drop off. And our intensity dropped, our level dropped, our work rate dropped. Valencia hit us on the break. It's Sequeira, who incidentally, and coincidentally really, is on loan from Atletico Madrid. He got down the left-hand side. It was no pressure on the ball from Sergio Roberto in the first instance. Sequeira gets played in. He runs off Rakitic, and Rakitic then can't make up that ground. So in his attempt to get the ball back, it deflects off him and past Claudio Bravo at his near post. I'm not sure you can point the finger too much at Claudio Bravo because it's a deflection, it's close range, it's difficult to adjust your body from there, but at the same time, a really unfortunate goal to concede. But at that point in the game, we were creating so many chances, it felt as though we can still get 2 goals. Don't worry about that. The objective then was to get to half-time, to regroup, to concentrate again, and in the second half, give them everything we got and see if they can withstand that. We didn't get to half-time though. That was the problem. We did not get to half-time, and again, it came down that left-hand side for Valencia, exploiting Sergio Roberto, who I think has had a fantastic season. I really like him as a person. He's got a great personality. He's a fantastic player to have in your squad, but tonight wasn't his game. Defensively, he wasn't there. He wasn't tight enough. He got caught square on for the second goal. A player ran in behind him. And Santi Mina showed extreme composure to score against us. Only the second player, including John Guidetti from Celta Vigo, to score against us in both La Liga games this season. So well done to that young man. But again, Claudio Bravo, in this instance, probably should do better, because the fact that he gets something on it as it goes into the net suggests that he could have possibly kept it out. But I'm a big fan of Claudio Bravo, and he doesn't usually have many games like this where you expect him to make the saves. But unfortunately tonight, in terms of our defending in the right-hand side, it wasn't there, and in terms of them stopping the goals going in, that couldn't be helped either. So unfortunately, we found ourselves 2-0 down going into half-time. And then what happened then was Luis Enrique got the players in the dressing room, I would imagine, and really went, you know, just sent a message across to try and get them back in this game. And he sent them out about 3 minutes before Valencia even appeared for the second half. So clearly his message across in the dressing room was done. The ball boys at the Camp Nou were also given a message at half-time. They were getting the balls back on quicker than ever. Every time the ball went out of play, one was thrown on very, very quickly. We wanted to keep the tempo up, and that seemed to work. The first minute of the second half, we had a chance. We missed it. Rakitic had that one. And it just went on and on and on in the same sort of manner. We were getting the ball in midfield. It was usually going wide towards Alba. Lionel Messi was on that right-hand side, but he was cutting in like he usually does on that left foot of his, and then playing the ball cross-field towards Jordi Alba, and he was the main outlet. So it was no real surprise that the eventual breakthrough for us came through Lionel Messi, who then set up Alba, who cut it back to Messi, and that was when you thought the game was going to change. We got that first goal. We expected Valencia to possibly buckle, to show themselves as they have done all season. But credit to them, they didn't. They stayed firm. They made some very, very clever changes. It was very, very interesting tonight to see that Valencia probably had more players on the bench to choose from than Luis Enrique did. Paco Ayestan had some fantastic players to bring on in this game. Luis Enrique with Arda Turan suspended, with a few other players on the bench who were not quite at the standard required for this game. It was nothing there. There was nothing really that you could throw on that could change the game. So again, looking ahead to the summer, you've got to be thinking, we've got to improve this squad. We've got to give our manager something he could change the game with. We didn't have that tonight. We could have really, really done with it. So it was again that point of feeling that we could have done better. There's no doubt about that. There was chances again in the second half which we could have taken advantage of, but we didn't. And I think the general problem within the whole squad at the moment is tiredness. This is our 53rd game of the season. We've played probably the most games in Europe. I think only second to possibly Sevilla, but I'm not quite sure on that one. But either way, we've played a lot of games. A lot of games with the same sort of players. Sergio Busquets is one that I'm going to pinpoint tonight because he is absolutely, you don't understand now until how key he is to this team. Because what happens is, in a game like this, when you need to keep the pressure on, he's the man that does it. He is the man that we rely on to get the ball back quickly and use it then. Give it to Iniesta, give it to Rakitic and say go. We couldn't do that tonight. We couldn't fully keep the pressure on because Busquets wasn't controlling that midfield area like he usually does. He usually plays at such a high level, and right now, due to fatigue, he is tired. You can't, he's not dipped in performance. His ability hasn't dropped. He's not a bad player overnight. He's tired. He's physically and mentally tired. And in that role that he plays, you've got to be switched on. You've got to be so sharp, and he isn't at the moment. And that is the problem, that so many of our players in that team are so highly strung. They need to always be at their optimum level to perform the way they do, and we're not. The same goes for Rakitic. His performance and his role in that team is based on him working so hard that he covers the fact our right back is usually out of position. Because that's what happens when Dani Alves goes forward, like we need him to give us our width. There's always going to be a gap there. It's Rakitic's job to not only be making runs into our box, but also be making runs into the opposition's box. So his game is based on working hard and being energetic. And when you're shattered, it is so difficult to do that. And he's tired as well at the moment. There's so many players in that team, and I'm not blaming tiredness here. I'm not saying, oh, we've blown our lead because of tiredness. I'm just saying, if there's one thing that you want to pinpoint at the moment, it's not the manager, it's not the players directly, it's the fact that we are tiring. We've got a small squad. It needs to be addressed. It will be addressed in the summer for sure, but it's just whether now we can make it over that line in the last few games of the season. Because we've got a few games now, home and away, against teams who are in the bottom half of the table. We are still top of La Liga, by the way. Some people, the way they're talking, you wouldn't believe it. We are still top of the league on head-to-head record against Atletico Madrid. We're on the same points as them, 1 point away from Real Madrid, and we have got 3 games left in this season. 3 games left. Now sorry, I wish we had 3 games left. We've got 5 games left in this season now to really make our case. We've got Deportivo in the week, and that is the game. That is the game away at Deportivo La Coruña, just a few days after this disappointment. Again, I'm talking about tiredness. The players are not going to have long to recover from this. And another thing to back that tiredness issue up, Luis Enrique actually gave the players a day off on Friday. Now that is unheard of. Usually a few days before the game, especially during, because we had a game in midweek, so you have a little bit of rest after that anyway. He gave them all a day off, and that is what we're getting to at the moment. The fact that the players cannot sustain this level. They need that break, they need that chance. We're away at Deportivo, and then next Saturday we're at home to Sporting Gijón, and then, thank the Lord, we've got a full week to prepare for an away trip to Betis, and then after that we've got a full week to prepare for Espanyol at home, and then after that we've got a full week to prepare for Granada away. So if we can get through the Deportivo game in the week, if we can win that, take that into Sporting Gijón at home, who are in the relegation zone, you'd expect us to beat them, even with the confidence issues we're having. And then, thank you, finally, we've got full weeks to rest our players, to train them, to drill them, to get that edge back to our play, and we need to then be going into those games full throttle. Whether we can do that or not, I really, really don't know. But what I do suggest is, it's a chance for us now. We've dropped the points now. People are breathing down our necks. We've got to deliver. We've got to go there, do this, and we have to beat Depor on Wednesday. There's no two ways about it. We've got to bounce back. We've got to beat them. We've got to go to Sporting Gijón at the Camp Nou, beat them. Then we've got 3 weeks. There's no excuses then. The players can get their rhythm back. They can stop this fatigue nonsense, and we can go and win the title. We cannot blow this lead. We cannot blow this lead. And I still believe, even with the collapse, even with the poor form, even again with a loss tonight, there's elements of that team. The fight is there. The desire is there. We were unlucky tonight with our chances. We can do this. We can win this league title, and we have to do it. For the fans, for the players, for the manager, we deserve it. Let's take out these games. Our season leading up to this was outstanding. Let's not let that drop because of a few weeks of misfortune, of fatigue, and poor performance. We've got to make sure that we finish this season on a high. We need 5 successive wins, nothing short of what these fans deserve. We can do it. Leave your thoughts down below, guys. I am animated right now. I cannot wait to go to Deportivo. We have to win that. We have to win that. Let me know down below. Interested to hear your thoughts on tonight. Try and keep them positive, although I can see that may be difficult. But interested to hear those nonetheless. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, until next time, we will fight on. Visca El Barça.